Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Channeling the Cosmos. My name is Josette LeBlanc. This week we are being asked to reflect and reflect in order to learn. How do we learn? We learn by reflecting. And so we're going to be using the cosmic energy that has been swirling around us to see what we've learned. And the first stop is with the Sagittarius Full Moon that is happening on May 23rd. So Sagittarius is all about wisdom and traveling and really traveling and connecting with others in order to gain wisdom and to gain knowledge. And now that the sun has moved into Gemini, we have this extra charge of learning, because Gemini is about communication and communication in order to learn new things. So this, to me, is one of my favorite seasons, Gemini season, because I just love learning new things. How does reflection come into play? The full moon energy is about illuminating parts of ourselves that were perhaps kept in the dark. A full moon is bright in the night. And so when a full moon is shining on us, we're able to see parts of our psyche, our heart, our soul that we weren't able to see before. This is the gift of the full moon. Now, that's not always fun, because it also means it's possibly highlighting some shadows that we weren't seeing. And this is the gift of the full moon, because when we are able to see things, we are able to make decisions. And this is one of the reflection points. Sagittarius, again, is about gaining wisdom and knowledge. The moon is about highlighting our intuition and what is deep in our heart, our emotions. That is the moon. On this full moon, you have the opportunity to reflect on the new moon that happened 2 weeks ago, the new moon in Taurus. So the new moon in Taurus was on May 7th. And new moons are a time for planting seeds, for setting intentions. Reflect back on the intention you set at that time and look at what has grown from that intention. This full moon is highlighting what you perhaps have missed in the planting of that intention, of that seed. There's something around connecting with others that you have not looked at. Again, Sagittarius is that connection to travel and gaining wisdom. And because the sun is in Gemini, the energy of communication and learning. And so there's something in this moment that you are perhaps not addressing in relation to what you can learn from someone else. I'm getting a sense that some of you are denying what you're learning because you are perhaps embarrassed to be learning from a certain person, or jealous to be learning from a certain person. I'm getting these kind of antagonistic feelings about learning from someone you admire, but also someone you feel jealous about. It's interesting, and it's an interesting emotion. Jealousy is an indication of where you would like to grow. And so if you're feeling this feeling of jealousy or envy or judgment towards a person in particular, a group in particular, it's important to look at, what is this teaching you? What is it that you need to look at? This is the power of this full moon. Now, of course, it's important for you to look at whenever any planet is within a sign. I say this all the time. It's helpful to look at where that sign is on your natal chart, because it will speak specifically to the part of your life that is being highlighted. So at this moment, 2 places you want to look at: Sagittarius, because that's where the full moon is. So what house is Sagittarius in? And also, where is Gemini in your chart? What house is Gemini in your chart? And I will share the link to how to find that out in the description. Okay, so reflect on the intentions you set on May 7th. Look at what is the full moon in Sagittarius highlighting. You also want to reflect on the seeds you planted on May 18th for the Jupiter Cazimi. So the Jupiter was connected to the sun in Taurus on the 18th, and this was a powerful day to bring in good luck, abundance, and all that. So how is that going so far? What have you been seeing? Have you been seeing any signs of growth for that intention that you set on the 18th? Check that out. Then finally, one last point of reflection that you may want to do in relation to the full moon in Sagittarius is to reflect back 6 months ago. This was December 12th when the new moon was in Sagittarius. At that time, you also perhaps set some intentions for this Sagittarius energy to bring in more wisdom into your life, to bring in more understanding of who you are, why you're here. That is a new moon in Sagittarius. What is the meaning of life? You asked that question in December and you wanted clarity about a particular part of your life. Look back to those 6 months and see, what have you learned about that part of your life? What have you gained? And what do you know now that you didn't know then? This is very important for you to look at because this is a sign that your past self was looking out for your future self and who you are now. So take the time to look back to December 12th, 2023, and how much you've grown and how much your past self wanted you to experience what you're experiencing today and celebrate that. All right, that's all for today. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them in the comments. I also love to hear your stories, so please share that in the comments as well. And see you next week. Okay, bye.